What's going on, everyone? I'm Cris from Gamertech Toronto, and welcome back to our PC building series with Intel Core Ultra. Today we're going to go over some of the biggest PC mistakes and, more importantly, how to avoid them. Building your own PC truly feels rewarding after seeing it come to life, but it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you time, money, and performance if you're not careful. Two of the most common areas where we see people running into trouble are compatibility and maintenance. Whether it's picking parts that don't work together or skipping basic checkups, these mistakes can impact your system's performance and lifespan. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what to watch out for when putting your PC together, so you can keep your system running smoothly for years to come. Here's some compatibility mistakes and solutions. When building a PC, compatibility is one of the most important things to get right. Every component in your system needs to work together seamlessly, from your CPU, your motherboard, your RAM, GPU, and power supply. If you don't double check part compatibility before you buy, you can run into major headaches like a CPU that won't fit into your motherboard, RAM that won't boot properly, or a power supply that can't handle your GPU. To avoid these issues, it's always a good idea to plan your build ahead of time and research part compatibility before making any purchases. Let's go over some of the most common mistakes people make when they're choosing their components and how to fix them. Picking the wrong CPU and motherboard combo. Your CPU and motherboard must be compatible or your system won't even power on. The big mistake I see is people buying a CPU and motherboard that don't share the same socket type or chipset support, assuming a newer CPU will work with an older motherboard without even checking for BIOS updates. Here's a simple fix. Always check the socket type, for example, LGA 1851 for the Intel Core Ultra series. Make sure the motherboard's chipset supports your CPU and is BIOS compatible if upgrading. Number 2, choosing the wrong RAM type or configuration. RAM compatibility affects system stability, speed, and overall performance. Another mistake is mixing DDR4 and DDR5 RAM, or using RAM that isn't even on the motherboard's QVL list. Installing RAM in the wrong slots, or using single channel instead of dual channel, which reduces performance. Here are some solutions. Intel 12th to 14th gen CPUs support both DDR4 and DDR5, but the new Intel Core Ultra requires DDR5. Always install matching pairs of RAM in the correct slots to enable dual channel performance. Ignoring power supply requirements. A weak or incompatible power supply can lead to random shutdowns, instability, and even hardware failure. The big mistake is choosing a low wattage power supply that can't even handle your GPU and CPU power draw. Buying a cheap or even unbranded power supply that could fail under load or lack proper power connections. To fix that, check your GPU and CPU power requirements and choose a power supply with at least 100 to 150 watts of headroom. You should use a reliable 80 plus gold or higher certified power supply for best efficiency and stability. And next, GPU clearance and case sizing issues. Your GPU needs to fit inside your case and have enough airflow and power clearance to function properly. The mistake I see quite often is buying a large GPU that doesn't even fit in your case, or it's blocking airflow with poor cable management. Or forgetting to check if the power supply even has the necessary power connectors for your GPU. Make sure when you're buying a GPU, you check the GPU dimensions against your case specs before purchasing. Make sure your case has good airflow and that there's enough clearance for power connectors. Here are some final thoughts on compatibility. Taking the time to research part compatibility before buying components can save you a lot of time and frustration. A great way to avoid this is to use PC Part Picker's website that flags compatibility problems before you buy the parts. By getting these details right, you'll avoid costly mistakes and build a system that works properly from day one. Here are some maintenance, common mistakes, and solutions. Building a PC isn't just about putting parts together, it's also about keeping the system running smoothly over time. Neglecting maintenance can lead to overheating, poor performance, and even hardware failure if you're not careful. Many new builders focus on performance and compatibility, but forget about long-term care. Dust buildup, poor cooling, and outdated firmware can slow your system down or even cause stability issues. The good news? Well, PC maintenance is simple if you stay on top of it. Let's go over the most common maintenance mistakes and how to prevent them. Number 1, not cleaning dust and debris regularly. Dust is one of the biggest enemies of PC performance. If left unchecked, it can clog fans, block airflow, and cause components to overheat. The mistake is letting dust accumulate inside the case, leading to hotter temperatures and reducing cooling efficiency. Another mistake is placing your PC on a carpet or near vents where dust buildup happens faster. A simple fix to this is to clean your PC every 2 to 3 months using compressed air or even a soft brush to remove dust from fans, vents, and even components. Install dust filters to help catch debris before it gets into the system. Keep your PC in a well-ventilated, low-dust environment and avoid placing it directly on the floor. Ignoring thermal paste and cooling setup. A good cooling setup keeps your system running at optimal temperatures, but improper thermal paste applications can lead to poor heat transfer and CPU overheating. The big mistake is always applying too much or even too little thermal paste, which can create air pockets or messy spills. Reusing old, dried out thermal paste when installing a CPU cooler. A simple fix: apply a pea-sized amount of thermal paste in the center of your CPU for even coverage. I usually like to replace the thermal paste every 1 to 2 years to maintain cooling efficiency. Ensure your cooler is mounted properly and that fans are configured in optimal airflow. Poor cable management affecting airflow. Messy cables don't just look bad, but they also block airflow and make future upgrades much harder. Even routing cables directly in front of the fans, reducing airflow to key components. A simple fix to this is to use zip ties or even built-in cable routing channels to keep your cables neat. Keep power cables away from major airflow paths, ensuring proper cooling for both the GPU and CPU. Make sure you plan your cable management during the assembly instead of just waiting until the end. Finally, forgetting to update your BIOS and drivers. Keeping your BIOS and drivers up to date is essential for compatibility, performance, and stability. Running an outdated BIOS can cause incompatibility issues, especially with newer CPUs or RAM. Neglecting GPU, chipset, or storage drivers can lead to reduced performance or system crashes. A simple fix is just to update your BIOS before installing a new CPU or RAM to ensure full compatibility. Always make sure to keep your GPU, motherboard, and storage drivers up to date to maximize performance and even fix bugs. Also, regularly check the manufacturer's website for firmware and driver updates. Here are my final thoughts on maintenance. PC maintenance doesn't have to be complicated, but a little effort does go a long way in keeping your system efficient. By cleaning your PC, managing airflow, maintaining thermal paste, and updating firmware, you can extend the lifespan of your components and avoid frustrating issues down the line. Building a PC is an extremely exciting process, and steering clear of these common mistakes will help you ensure a smoother, stress-free experience from the start to the finish. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment down below with the biggest PC building mistake you've ever made. Thanks for watching.